Hi everyone, it's Aisha from God FM. Today is the 30th of July 2026, and today I want to talk about the view of targeted individuals from the perspective of Google. When you go online and you put in targeted individual, what do you get? So I'm thinking, when you tell people I'm a targeted individual, they're going to go and have a look and see what is a targeted individual, right? Let's find out. Okay. So I want to read what it says. And this is how they identify with targeted individuals. Gang Stalking and Targeted Individuals by Cody Zozak and Kevin D. Reyes. Targeted individuals, TIs, are self-identified individuals who believe they are victims of constant group stalking, monitoring, and harassment, i.e. gang stalking, by shadowy adversaries, most commonly government agents. TIs generally believe that these adversaries are physical surveillance as well as fantastic forms of electronic surveillance such as microwave technology. TIs have committed at least 4 mass shootings or acts of violence in the United States since 2013, while a number of TIs have harassed family members or other acquaintances. The delusions held by TIs have led them to target strangers on several occasions, most notably the 2013 Navy Yard shooting, which killed 12 people. The link between mental illness and violence is not unique to TIs, but they are distinguished by the degree to which they congregate and organize on online platforms. These communities are insular and serve to reinforce their delusions. This also creates the risks that social media groups affiliated with TIs could be exploited by extremist groups for their own agendas. What do targeted individuals believe? The basic belief of TIs is that they are being harassed by some entity for an unknown reason. This alleged harassment most often takes the form of gang stalking or mass surveillance. TIs will often describe bizarre, highly improbable, and science fiction-like situations. According to social media posts from self-identified TIs, these situations include 24/7 surveillance by nearly everyone around them, physical attacks including poisoning, electronic surveillance and hacking, targeted noise harassment, surgical implantation of microchips for tracking, directed energy weapons use, extremely low frequency ELF radiation, psychotronic weapons or voice-to-skull V2K technologies to broadcast sounds into TIs' minds, mind control them, and or remote control their body. The alleged perpetrators of gang stalking, often referred to by TIs as perps, are typically believed to be government, military, or law enforcement agencies, medical practitioners, e.g. doctors, psychiatrists, financial institutions, private businesses, e.g. insurance and pharmaceutical companies, media and the press, family, friends, and neighbors and strangers. As one study noted, TIs are unable to identify a single person responsible for their persecution and experience it as a widely distributed and coordinated effort. There is a significant amount of evidence that TIs are suffering from mental illness, but there has been insufficient study to provide further definition. Of the small sample of peer-reviewed literature on the subject, for example, a study published in the Journal of Forensic Psychiatry, Psychology, and 2015, examined a sample of 128 individuals who claimed to be the subject of gang stalking. The authors determined that all 128 cases of the self-reported gang stalking disorder in the study were highly likely to have been delusional, as defined by the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, DSM-V in brackets, and industry standard in mental health. However, when they are labeled as mentally ill on the internet or receive clinical diagnosis of psychiatric illness, TIs tend to reject this by arguing that their appearance of mental illness is merely a goal of their gang stalkers. Despite being driven to desperation by their alleged tormentors, the vast majority of TIs do not take violent action or express violent rhetoric. In addition to their inability to name a single person responsible for their torment, TIs are also rarely able to articulate a reason why they are being targeted. Despite their belief that the government or military is targeting them and destroying their lives, there is surprisingly little anti-government rhetoric in TI communities and little to no overlap with anti-government extremist groups. Mass shootings by TIs or possible TIs in brackets. Washington, D.C., 2013. In one of the most prominent shootings by a TI, Aaron Alexis killed 12 and injured 3 others at the Washington Navy Yard in September 2013. Alexis, a Navy veteran who had been working as a contractor at the Navy Yard, had been suffering from documented issues consistent with those of a TI for at least several months before the shooting. In August 2013, he filed a police report in Rhode Island claiming that he was under surveillance. In a separate incident, he disassembled a hotel bed because he believed somebody was hiding underneath it. Later that month, he was treated for insomnia by 2 Department of Veterans Affairs doctors. During treatment, he was described as lucid and stated that he had no desire to harm others. Other reports indicated that he believed a chip had been implanted in his head. Most notably, Alexis used a shotgun on which he had etched "My Elf. See, what do targeted individuals believe?" above. "End to the torment. Not what you all say, and better off this way." The director of People Against Covert Torture and Surveillance International Pacts International, a support group for self-identified TIs, also claimed that he had exchanged emails with Alexis. And then you see a picture of this shotgun. Okay, and then you've got St. Joseph, Louisiana, 2013. Fuad Abdo Ahmed held a number of bank customers in St. Joseph, Louisiana hostage with the demand that authorities remove what he claimed was a listening device they had implanted in his head. Ahmed was shot and killed after shooting at officers, according to law enforcement reporting. Ahmed was taking medication to treat schizophrenia. His family claimed that he had experimented with bath salts and other hard drugs while enrolled at Louisiana State University. Ahmed left behind a Facebook page and a variety of handwritten notes, none of which appeared to have referenced or were linked to TI groups. It cannot be confirmed that Ahmed considered himself a TI despite his statements during the attack. Given the robust presence of TI pages on Facebook, it would be unusual for a TI with an active Facebook profile to not interact with any such pages. And then we've got Tallahassee, Florida, 2014. Myron May, a self-identified TI, shot 3 people at a Florida State University FCU library before being killed by police in 2014. May was a graduate of FSU who abandoned a successful legal career after he began suspecting that he was the target of a large-scale coordinated surveillance campaign. For several years, he lived in a transient lifestyle and began posting on social media about his experiences as a TI. It is unclear why May chose to carry out a shooting or the significance of the target. A series of letters he wrote to friends and relatives before the attack indicate that the attack was premeditated and that he did not intend to survive. His personal papers included a letter titled "My Experiences as a Targeted Individual Documenting Alleged Harassment." The 5-page document includes roughly a year of increasingly extreme accusations, including local police that refused to take a report, a 10-car surveillance team, forced eviction, and the co-opting of an old friend to participate in the harassment. May also listed several tactics he claimed are used against TIs. Right. And then we've got the personal paper of his written note. And I'll come back to that maybe. And then we've got Baton Rouge, Louisiana, 2016. In 2016, July, Gavin Eugene Long targeted 6 police officers in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, killing 4 before being shot and killed himself. Long's digital footprint included a melange of ideological influences, including black nationalism, sovereign citizen ideology, and anti-government beliefs. These influences received the most attention at the time. The attack was deemed part of a string of incidents in the summer of 2016, motivated by black nationalism and anti-police sentiment after police shot several unarmed black men in the US. However, reporting and Long social media provides evidence that he also identified as a TI. On Facebook and other social media platforms, Long expressed his belief that he was being stalked. On his blog, he accused the police of being responsible for his harassment, stating that 99% of gang stalking is carried out by police. As with Aaron Alexis, Long also interacted with Pacts International, adding himself to their buddy list in 2015 before deactivating his account a month later. Long left a suicide note in which he railed against corrupt police officers and their targeting of black Americans. Rochester Hills, Michigan, 2024, Michael William Nash shot and injured 9 people at the Brooklyn Plaza splash pad in Rochester Hills, Michigan in June 2024. He was later found dead from an apparently self-inflicted gunshot wound at his residence in Shelby Township, Michigan. According to Oakland County Sheriff Michael Bouchard, Nash believed the government was tracking him. Other reporting stated that Nash's mother informed law enforcement after the shooting that Nash had been suffering with paranoia that the government was watching him. Nash did not leave a social media footprint or other writings that explicitly identified him as a TI, but the reporting from law enforcement and his relatives indicate that he exhibited many of the characteristics of one. Nash's motivation for the attack remains unknown, and is unclear whether his likely status as a TI influenced his decisions. Online communities and activity. TIs have formed large communities on a variety of social media sites and forums. Though some estimate that there are conservatively more than 10,000 described TIs, it is difficult to validate this number through social media analysis, as TIs often congregate in small groups and use multiple accounts across mainstream and alt-tech platforms. A review by ISD of TI and gang stalking on Reddit found numerous related subreddits, one of which has over 60,000 members. Data from Reddit shows that users who post on TI gang stalking subreddit community posts on subreddits related to conspiracy theories, e.g. Illuminati, New World Order, reptilians, and mental health issues, e.g. bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, ISD, also found at least 10 TI gang-stalking Facebook pages with more than 25,000 members. Wow. It's crazy, isn't it? When you look at this kind of thing, guys, I just want to talk about it. I for one, am a bit horrified the way they describe the targeted individual community. I, for one, I don't feel that they are sympathetic and they don't intend to deal with the crimes. The idea is to completely obliterate the person's ability to report crime. And then it goes on. Some TIs have also created their own web pages or group organizations that seek to encourage awareness of the phenomenon, disseminate theories on surveillance and organize lawsuits against those they believe are harassing them. One website, for example, was found by ISD to have nearly 50,000 monthly visits in mid-2024. Dozens of self-published books are also available on Amazon to help self-identified TIs understand and deal with their perceived torment. A popular form of TI content involves TI filming their gangstalkers and uploading their encounters on video, sharing platforms. Searches for key terms on YouTube and TikTok, for example, show thousands of videos by TIs, many with tens of thousands of views and likes. These videos usually show the TI capturing incontrovertible evidence of their gangstalkers, i.e. perps, which include strangers in public doing ordinary things such as walking and driving. While these online communities may serve as a way for TIs to support each other, they may also reinforce their beliefs and pull them into their own conspiracy theories, as highlighted by our Reddit analysis mentioned above. Additionally, not all the activity on these forums and pages consist of an echo chamber. Some users on the forums, for example, post to offer countervailing evidence and challenge TI's beliefs. These users, some of whom are former TIs, are rarely confrontational, but rather sympathetic. TI communities online are often quite insular, with little effort to advertise or find new members. Due to this, non-TIs do not often stumble into TI fora, reinforcing the echo chamber and reducing the level of harassment or debate that is often observed in online spaces. Conspiracy theorists are a notable exception. However, their proclivity to accept the controversial and outlandish ideas rarely creates confrontation. So basically what we have here is, this is on the website isdglobal.org. So this would be it's a London, Berlin, Paris, Toronto, Washington, and Amman website. And this is a copyright to Institute for Strategic Dialogue 2026. ISD UK is a charitable company limited by guarantee, registered charity number 1141069, registered company number 06581421, registered address 3rd floor, 45 Amber Mile Street, Mayfair, London, W1S4JL. So, why am I giving you the address? Well, because it's like this. If a farmer is named a farmer to farm food, that is his title, and his description would be appropriately described. However, targeted individuals are inaccurately described online as mentally unwell, and the evidence for this I have already proved. I am a targeted individual. And I am not imagining this is happening. I have provided so much evidence of flashing lights in my home, electricity that is live at night when my electricity is off. And I've also got problems using my phones and my telephone number. This doesn't make me a mentally unwell person. I have also got problems with fob entry systems for my estate agent for all the residences of the properties that I provide a fob entry enrollment service for new fobs for new tenants who have moved in or existing tenants where their fobs don't work. All of our fob entry systems, I think there's 5, don't work anymore. And this can't just be a coincidence. Where I lived before, the door entry system was messed with and it was used to coordinate the attacks on my life. And it is done the same here also. Why? A lot of fob entry systems have their own telephone number, and this can be intercepted through the local telephone mast. Okay. So, there are organizations who are put in place to try and discredit the validity of the targeted individual community. The targeted individual community cannot all be imagining the same things. I have interviewed dozens of targeted individuals, and they have all told me the same stories. They have burning skin and, burns on their faces. This is not a mental illness. This is because somebody is pointing something at their face and burning it with a funny type of light technology we don't know about and we're not made aware of. Often our cookers catch fire, and it seems like our beds shake as well. And I can definitely feel it. And I've also had a friend visit early when this first started, and he was also able to feel it, and he wasn't a targeted individual. But I believe they get to anybody to persuade them to tell you that they cannot feel it. Because the reason I say that is because I had someone over and there was a ringing going on, right, in the house. And it was a high-pitched ringing frequency. And I knew that it was activated through the water. So while he was sitting there, it was the cold water tap that activated it, because I'd worked it out. So I filled up some water and gave it to the plants, and the ringing stopped. And he looked a little bit annoyed about it. Anyway, then the next time he popped over, there was another ringing going on in the house, but I didn't know how to turn it off. Anyway, I went and I was putting makeup on in my bedroom, and we had a hot water tank above my bedroom. And I heard the tank going, and it was going for quite some time, and he was running the hot water. And then the ringing stopped after a while. So I thought, well, that one must be the hot water. One's for cold water, one's for the hot water. That's how I found the ringing was connected with the water. Don't know, but the pipes can be used to amplify frequencies. Frequencies can cook your brain and also clean microwaves. So the ability to hear these frequencies might depend on your wavelength of your brain. I don't know. I'm not a medical professional. But the person who ran the hot water knew about this because they did this for that purpose, to eliminate that sound and run the hot water. And so the next time this particular frequency started making noises, I ran the hot water for a few minutes, and sure enough, it stopped. So I thought, well, the person who visited me knew about that. So, I've had lots of different things that have happened. And I've proven to you how easy it is to hack a phone and to take someone's phone over. And also how to take over someone's electricity. And so, as far as I'm concerned, it's a highly organized criminal activity and very dangerous to have live electricity running in your home when you're trying to sleep and you've turned off your electricity. is dangerous. I've also, because I run my estate agent, I've rung my electricians that provided a report at my old property when the electrics caught fire because it was unsafe. And I had to pay for this report through Big Apple. And I'm going to be, if necessary, carrying out a report at my new property. But we do have an electrician that I think will be able to provide me with answers as to why there's live electricity running under my bed, only under my bedroom at night. So I can't sleep in my room at night. And this is not a mental illness. I've got an electric tester and I've checked the electricity is running. And I take things apart and I find aerials inside all of my things. So someone's done something. I don't know exactly what they've done and what the purpose of it is, but it does appear that they do these things on purpose. There have been physical break-ins to my home. I have things that are taken and replaced. I have people urinating and pooing around the house. My furniture has been vandalized. My cars have been vandalized. This is not a mental illness. And I, for one, will provide all of the evidence in my case because I serve God. And I just want to read my Bible and to preach the good news of Jesus. I don't see what's wrong with doing that. And I don't know why they would come after me. But I can tell you I don't drink alcohol and I don't take drugs. I'm just a simple lady on my own, actually. And I'm just really quite a happy person. And I just want to read my Bible and be prepared for what is coming in the world. There's a lot of changes happening, a lot of technology being used that we don't understand. And I feel very bad for all the targeted individuals. Like I was saying to my electrician yesterday, I want the report sent over because it will form part of my litigation case for financial damages against the perpetrators. In the case of the written report that I've just read you online, they cannot identify their perpetrators, but I can. I know who they are, and they know who they are. And what they did with me is they came and dug up all sorts of drains around my home, and they redid the plumbing underneath my home, and it was called plumb line location. And they took over my number. They broke in, and they completely took over the router and the telephone line coming into my home. And they've done the same at my new residence as well. When I get the stuff off, everything is fine for me. So I know I'm not imagining it. And I can also hear slamming of doors around when I get the stuff off because they're angry that I've got it off. And so there's coordinated communication as well that I've noticed. I don't think this is a mental illness. So let me give you an example. When I get the stuff off, we get fireworks, we get fire alarms going off locally. We also get alarms in businesses and residences for house alarms, and we also get church bells. We've also got, as I say, fireworks and all sorts of interesting things. I do get helicopters coming very close to my home, very, very close, following and seeming like they're around my home. And I feel like it's me they're looking at, it does feel that way because it happens so much to me. But that's just my thoughts working with the information I have. I've also proved to you that I've got Stingray and Pegasus on my devices, and that I can clone and take over any phone through Bluetooth. The other thing is that Bluetooth has to be hacked at a local level, and my TV it gets controlled by someone else, and I found that I can't control my own TV. So I don't think this is a mental illness. I have also, when this first started, considered going on mental health pills. for sure, because I just want to be happy and normal. I do. But when I realized, there's just too many things that say that this is not a mental illness, and there's so many other victims, and they've all got the same. For example, the other victims have the same. They have vandalism, and they do videos of the vandalism. My friend has a boat, and all of the Jubilee clips that she has on the little elastic clips have all been cut. Every day they're cut on her boat. This is not a mental illness. Somebody's pointing lights at her that hurt her head and hurts her body and burns her body, but doesn't hurt when the lights aren't on. Where something's the same with all the other targeted individuals. And as I've already said, I believe that something is put in the air and in the water of the victims so that they're breathing in nano and eating nano and drinking nano. And I think it is a type of poisoning that is conducted against the targeted individual to put the stuff inside them. It's like a nano dust. I've also said that to check the water, I'd need a microscope of £50,000, but I do have a microscope, and I have checked the water, and there are things inside it alive, running around, and these things must be nanotechnology. All right. And then I've also got strange anomalies with lights, which I've taken apart as well. And it appears that they put in extra joints and extra wires into the wiring of a light lamp. I've had it with a lamp where there's about 14 additional wires added to 2 strands of wiring for a basic light. And this is not normal. And when I take radios apart, and even liquidizers, I find aerials inside all of the appliances. I also found QR codes inside really old TVs. On the actual adapter plug that you plug the wire into to switch the thing on. I found a QR code, and I found all sorts of additional wiring in there as well, and a circuit board. I believe this could easily be something to track, follow, watch, and hack someone. I don't know. I'm not a skilled technician, but does seem very complicated wiring. I've also found excessively large copper loops in plugs and things, and on the TV. So there's definitely something very interesting going on. An aerial for a TV is just a bit of aerial with a very fine copper wind around it. I found 2 of those inside the compartment that you would plug your TV into this little box thing that was put inside the TV to plug your TV into. And I found 2 of those, very powerful. They would be very powerful aerials. And then I've put this all online, and I've also taken apart an old laptop from 2007 and all of the circuit boards, including the screen, behind the screen. I've got QR coded things all over everything. So QR codes were not invented until much later. And so somebody has definitely modified everything. So, if it was just one person doing this, they'd have to be very highly skilled to take things apart and make all these adaptations. They really would. Like I say, I'm not skilled, but I've tried to keep up with it. As things have become faulty in my house, I've taken them apart and found that there's additional wiring been added and aerials added to appliances as well as radios. Radios come with aerials, this is true, but that's in a different section of the radio circuit boards, and it already had that. What I found was additional aerials, very powerful ones, inside all of the appliances I've taken apart. So I've talked about wireless electricity. You can charge your phone on a wireless charger. And I've also found the evidence of them putting stuff in the water at my old residence with a sieve. A decantery thing. So I believe they pour a bottle of something inside. Most of the victims of this targeting are gassed with either nano or some other gases that cause coughing, people to lose their voice, and also ringing in their ears, and various other things. Again, I'm not qualified in any of these things. I have suffered under the same as the other targeted individual. The same things have happened. I have also shown you rugs where I'm the only person who lives at my house, and I don't have big, oil fat that I pour on my carpets, all right? But I've got oil fat type of greasy stuff that is put onto my rugs that you cannot get out. I've also shown you funny things that are put on switches as well as door frames, really sticky stuff that you have to use industrial cleaner to get off. And I really struggle to get it off. And I live by myself. Again, I don't have coffee, tea or food upstairs. So there's no reason for this to be splashed all over radiators and door frames and all over the walls. So I can only talk about the things that have happened to me. I've also got windows that have been specially modified so that they don't close properly, so that people can have entry into my home. I've heard them in my house when I've been here, and I've been frightened. Okay? And that's why I do what I do. I talk about it. Because it is a frightening thing to happen to someone. I have been sexually molested by somebody. I have the knickers, or don't have them now, to prove it. The police will just ignore me, because this is what they have done online. They have provided a report that is unsavory towards the targeted individuals. And the targeted individuals are in danger. And that's why I keep going. Because I'm worried about the targeted individuals. Because I, for one, can prove that they're not crazy. I can prove it. And I class myself as an authority in this field of activity. I do. Because I know more about this targeting than anyone else and how it operates. I, for one, also will tell you that when I see the videos of people taking footage of other people with their cars, and then they go, look at me, there's all this attention for me. Some of those videos don't do the victim any good. They make them look crazy. This is true. But I've also got videos and evidence that people change their lights switched on the cars from the two lights at the front to one light, and this is a laser type of light. And lights can do a lot of things. Lights in microwaves, as I've already proved to you and told you, I take apart microwaves, and I could easily build a microwave to point a light at my neighbors and cook them alive. Very easy. Okay. And I'm not an engineer, but it's not a rocket scientist type of thing, Microwaves are dangerous things. They really are. And I take them apart because I like the transformer that it has inside. It's a really large brick type thing, and I found that levels the earthing in my home, and I really like it. I don't like the bit with the magnets and the pointy thing, because that gives me headaches, even when it's out of the microwave. and not plugged in. And what I do is I paint it and I fill that element with concrete so it can't be used, because I'm frightened that that thing's still quite dangerous, to be honest. But I think that microwaves are technology we don't really understand. If you think about a microwave, you put something inside it and it cooks it from the inside out. If microwaves are being used on targeted individuals, it's very easy to do to someone using lights. This I've also proved. All that you'd have to do is rewire someone's house and point one of these things from the microwave at the person and you could cook them alive. This is what I believe is happening. I have also witnessed somebody putting in something into the wall of my old residence, and this I can prove also. And it's about the size of a small battery for a car. And I would always get vibrations and shaking from this point. So it is my belief that there must be something. I've also told you about the wiring they've added to my property, and I get live wire readings where there's someone has obviously done something on the outside, and they haven't even bothered to paint it the same color. They just put concrete to join it back up together again, not a concrete colored filler. And I think, well, there's wiring in there, I think, because I'm picking up readings for it. So from my perspective, it's a criminal activity that's being conducted against targeted individuals, and I'm going to treat myself like a guinea pig to try and prove it, to, have these crimes exposed for being crimes, and the people to get some justice. It's too much for people. It is like a horror film, having all of this activity. I don't know what's happening, with regard to the levels of recruitment for the team members. I know that they do recruit people. There are professional organizations that do the gang stalking. This I know, and I'm not imagining it. Because I serve God, I've prayed to the Lord that the Lord will expose this, and the Lord will bring it to the public, that the public will recognize this as a crime, because it also poses dangers to everyday citizens and children, using the 5G towers and all of the technology that operates the gang stalking operation is the same stuff. The MK Ultra and the mind control is, in my opinion, nano that has been put in the water and breathed in. And some people can hear voices and other people just hear the ringing. Why? Well, our brains all operate differently. If you breathe in nano, your brain might have locked away that compartment that will allow the nano into it, where it controls your audio receivers for messages. So, I don't get the voices, but I get the ringing. And I'm able to stop the ringing. But I have to be careful what I'm breathing and what I'm drinking to stop the ringing in my house. If I open the window, then I found that I get ringing. And I think that is because there's something being put into the air near my home. People have reported that there's blowers that are used by the gang stalkers, and the reason for this is multifaceted. The blowers operate the mind control operation. It's an activation mechanism, and it's also the same with the washing machine and the helicopters. The fan is also used to put nano towards you, to blow nano dust at you. What is nano dust? Well, it's tiny. You can't even see it. It's smaller than a pinprick. So this is unprovable. And this is why they can make out that targeted individuals are crazy. The other people that participate in it, the neighbors, are reportedly, many have reported that they've had to sign non-disclosure agreements. They're not allowed to discuss the targeting of an individual, and they receive payment and financial rewards for participating in the crimes against a targeted individual. The intention against a targeted individual is to cause disruption and unhappiness, for them to have nobody, no friends, no family, no support, and to make them out to be crazy, and to take away their rights as a human being. To basically remove every element of their life, so their life is not worth living, and they wish to be dead and kill themselves. And as far as I'm concerned, this is murder. And this is another reason why I am working so hard to interview all the victims. Because unlike the police and the governments, I understand this and I feel sorry for them. I also know that this technology could be used on the public. Anyone could have this used against them. If it can happen to me, it can happen to anybody. So I've got to do what I can do to expose it. It makes me very unhappy. They're able to make me very, very unhappy. They do witchcraft as well. And this is a hunting type of organization. And they put the footage online. The organizations that run it in Turkey run the Airbnbs on Warren Road. And buy up holiday lets and re-kit out the holiday lets with modified water pipes, electric supplies and lights, so that the lights activate the stuff. The holiday maker will be an unsuspecting victim who will stay in one of the holiday residences, drink the water, connect up to the gang stalkers' Wi-Fi, and all of their information will be accessible. They'll be watched and filmed in their holiday lets. This is like Bates Motel. Have you ever watched Bates Motel? Well, Bates Motel is about this young boy, and he's a psychopath, and he murders people, and he watches people in the hotels. So it is a bit like that. But they never get caught because they're always a few steps ahead. And so in this way, these guys are also the same. Because they've got control of your phone and all your communications in and out of your home, they've got full control over who receives the information, who helps you and who doesn't. They buy them off, they pay them off, or they frighten them. Or they target those people as well. I personally have witnessed other residents of properties that I look after become victims of this crime. One has become a victim of being a targeted individual. I cannot name him, but his mother came to me saying that he was imagining things, that the government's out to get him. And he won't use his SIM card anymore, and that he's crazy. And I said, well, no, I don't think he's crazy. I think that he's suffering from the same as me. And I can prove it. I've got the ability to go through the analytics, and also on a computer, I can tell which images are used to embed the new coding to rewrite the phones on iPhones. And the compartment for iPhones for images is a separate compartment which gives access to the inner workings and operations of the Apple iPhone. iMessage and all of those things are easily taken over. And if somebody comes in and clones your phone and clones your SIM card, it's easy to do that through Bluetooth, by the way. They take over the SIM card, they put things nearby so they can take over the person's phone. But it's not just your phone, it's anybody who visits. They take over their device as well. So this way, they can intercept the communications and hijack any relationship or communication. These people also make phone calls and send text messages as the victim. They also dress up like the victim and climb on roofs. They also dress up a copy of the victim and put them on porn sites and also on swingers sites. They have done this with me. So, and they will actively stand outside your office, slagging you off, telling everybody that you are a dodgy company to use. They will purposely put in place some sick psychopath to manage one of the car parks where you have to access to work and park your car, to ban you from parking by your office so that you can't operate. This I can prove also. So it is a witch hunt, and they don't mind doing whatever they do it. But, you know, you can have a few of these things happen, but not all of it. For example, I had my car MOT'd last year, and these guys swapped the windscreen wipers. You might say, oh, well, they're probably old. No, I had new windscreen wipers fitted on the MOT. And I paid for them, so I know. And then when I went to use the car, the windscreen wipers were brittle and I couldn't see in the rain. And I nearly crashed my car. So these people don't care about your safety. I've also had cables cut in my car to cause me to crash and die. Lucky for me, I didn't crash the car and die. The car just luckily stopped. And I had a passenger with me who had just handed his life to Jesus, who I baptized at the sea that day. And he is also the same person who heard the ringing and everything else. This is someone I'd met at the beach who had handed his life to Christ, and I baptized him. And then he came to my house, and I wanted to teach him a bit about Jesus Christ and give him some books. And then when we were leaving, the car gave us some problems, and someone had cut the cables inside my Audi convertible with God FM written all over it. Someone has purposely vandalized my God FM car. This isn't imaginary. This has happened to me. They've also vandalized any of the other vehicles that I had to cause mold inside the vehicles, and swap batteries around and rewire it so that you haven't got a radio. They also hijack the Bluetooth and rig up tracking devices in your vehicles. This I can all prove as well. So, knowing what I know, since there's no official authority in this matter, I'm taking that position for God. And I can verify if somebody is a targeted individual. If I was to go to someone's house, I could carry out tests and tell you if you're a targeted individual and what they're doing. So, and I also know how to stop it. And I contacted a guy in Plymouth who was a specialist in this, and he wanted to know how I stopped it. But I think there's lots of people masquerading as helpers, and they're actually secretly working for the government. And they do this on YouTube and everything else. This is all about controlling the truth getting out there, and to discredit the person who's telling the stories, like me. They've done everything they can to discredit my reputation as a minister of Jesus Christ. They don't want me being a minister for Jesus Christ, and they don't think that I should be a minister for Jesus Christ. Well, I've got news for you. I'm called by God to do the work of the Lord. And it doesn't matter what you do. I'm never going to stop serving God. And believing in Jesus Christ. So that's all I want to do, is to read the Bible, learn the Bible, and to help others, to find Jesus. But if that's such a problem, then I'll do what I have to do to prove that what's happening to me isn't imaginary. I'm not losing my mind. And I will help the other victims. Because somebody needs to. And yeah, it looks like I'm going to lose everything in the process. That's fine. Jesus didn't own anything. He didn't even have a house. So I'm picking up my cross and I'm following Jesus. And there's no man that can pluck me out of God's hand. No one who can change my destiny. Nobody who can have what I have. Who I am through the Lord. And I love the Lord. And you can't change me. You might want to read my mind. And you might want to try and steal my mind. But you have no access. You have no consent. And I belong to the Lord. So I'm here to help the other victims and tell them what I found. And this is multifaceted as well, to help them, to support them, and to give them reassurance and endorse what has happened to them. As a minister of Jesus Christ, I feel that I have more than enough capacity as a minister that endorses my sanity and my capacity mentally. All right. So it's Aisha from God FM, and if you want to find me, you can find me on Podbean, Spotify, Amazon, Samsung, Chrome, YouTube, Apple, X, as well as TikTok and Telegram as God FM News, God FM New, God FM Radio, God FM Group, and God FM Media. Have a great day. It's Aisha from God FM. Take care.